Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today with a simple but powerful message. Before it's too late, turn your heart back to God. We live in a world that is constantly moving, evolving, and often pulling us in different directions. The noise, the distractions, the demands, they can all cause us to lose sight of the most important relationship we have. And that's the relationship with the Creator of all things. But here's the thing, it's never too late. It's never too late to turn our hearts back to God, no matter how far we've wandered, no matter how much we may have been distracted by the chaos of life. There's always a way back. The moment you choose to shift your attention, to redirect your energy and your heart toward God, everything changes, and it starts within you. You see, every one of us is capable of transforming the way we experience the world. We all have the ability to change the reality we live in. It begins with our consciousness, the thoughts we entertain, the emotions we allow ourselves to feel, and the energy we put out into the universe. But most importantly, it begins with the heart. The heart is the center of everything. It's the energy field that aligns us with the divine. Now, think about this for a moment. What if right now you decided to let go of the past? What if you stopped focusing on the mistakes you've made, the regrets you carry, the disappointments you feel? Those things don't define you. Those are just moments in time, like raindrops that pass by, but your heart is infinite, your soul is timeless, and it's never too late to come back to your true essence, to realign with God's love. When we open our hearts to God, we open the doors to a new dimension of possibility. It's in that space of surrender, where we let go of our limited beliefs and our false perceptions, that we can experience miracles. Not miracles in the way we often think of them, like something dramatic and external, but miracles that happen within. The miracle of realizing that we are deeply connected to something much bigger than ourselves. The miracle of understanding that everything in our life is a reflection of what's inside our hearts. Science shows us that we are made of energy. Every cell in our body, every thought, every feeling is vibrating at a certain frequency. What frequency are you vibrating at today? Are you vibrating at the frequency of fear, doubt, and separation? Or are you vibrating at the frequency of love, faith, and unity? The choice is yours. And this choice, the one you make in your heart, has the power to shift your life in profound ways. I invite you today to consider the possibility that God is always with you, always waiting for you to come back to Him. No matter where you've been or what you've done, there is a direct path back to love, back to peace, back to grace. The moment you decide to step into that space, the moment you choose to align your heart with that divine energy, you are unstoppable. So, before it's too late, take a moment to reflect. What's holding you back from surrendering? What's stopping you from turning your heart back to God? Know that you have the power to make that decision now. This moment is yours. Your future is in your hands, and it starts with your heart. Let's stop waiting for a sign from the outside world. The sign is already within you. You don't need to search far and wide for the answers. The answers are in the deepest part of you, the part that is always connected to the divine. When you turn your heart back to God, you're not just asking for guidance, you're remembering who you really are. Don't wait for the right time. There's no time like the present. So take a deep breath, release the burdens, and with full faith turn your heart back to God. It's never too late to come home, and when you do, you will find that you are not alone. You will find that you are surrounded by an infinite love that has always been there, waiting for you to return. Turning your heart back to God is a decision that transcends time, space, and circumstance. It's not about how far you've gone or how long you've been disconnected. No matter where you find yourself, no matter how many detours you've taken, the path back is always there, waiting for you to take that first step. We often get caught up in the idea that we need to be in a certain place or have everything figured out before we can return to God, but that's not the case. The beauty of this relationship is that it's not based on perfection or human achievement. It's based on love and grace. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to forget that we always have the option to realign ourselves with the divine. The distractions of the world can pull us away from our spiritual center, but we can always find our way back. no matter how far we've strayed. There's no requirement for some grand, transformative moment before we can come back to God. It's about a simple, intentional shift in our heart, a turning inward and opening ourselves to divine love and guidance. That's all it takes. When we acknowledge that turning our heart back to God is always an option, we free ourselves from the burden of thinking it's too late. It doesn't matter how much time has passed or how many mistakes we've made. The moment you decide to realign, the divine presence is already there, embracing you, ready to welcome you back with open arms. The invitation is constant. All we need to do is make the choice to respond. The return is not a distant event but a present possibility, and it starts the moment you choose it. Our consciousness holds immense power. It shapes not only the way we perceive the world, but also how we experience it. Every thought, emotion, and belief creates a vibrational frequency that ripples through our being, influencing our external reality. We often believe that the world around us is what shapes our experiences, but the truth is that it is our internal world, the thoughts and beliefs we hold, that shapes everything we encounter. When we truly understand the power of our consciousness, we realize that we have the ability to change our experiences by simply changing the way we think, feel, and believe. The quality of our thoughts has a profound impact on our lives. Negative, limiting thoughts can create blockages in our energy, leading to feelings of frustration, fear, or doubt. On the other hand, when we choose to focus on positive, empowering thoughts, we begin to align ourselves with the energy of possibility, creativity, and abundance. It's not always easy to shift our consciousness, especially when we've been conditioned to think a certain way for years, but with practice it becomes a transformative process. This shift in consciousness is not just a mental exercise, it affects our entire being. Our emotions, our energy, and our physical body all respond to the frequency of our thoughts. The more we cultivate positive thoughts and emotions, the more we raise our vibrational frequency, bringing us into harmony with our true essence. It's in this state of alignment that we can begin to manifest the life we truly desire, one that reflects the divine potential within us. The power of consciousness is not just about changing the way we think. It's about realizing that we are not victims of circumstance, but active creators of our own reality. The heart is the core of our being, the center that connects us to everything greater than ourselves. It is not just a physical organ pumping blood throughout our body. It is a powerful energetic center that governs our emotional, spiritual, and even physical experiences. When we speak of aligning with the divine, we are speaking of aligning with the energy of the heart, which holds the key to our deepest connection to God. The heart is where our true essence resides, where our soul's longing for unity with the divine presence can be felt most deeply. Everything in our life is influenced by the energy that emanates from our heart. When we open ourselves to the love of God, we are opening the door to boundless possibilities. This love, flowing through our heart, has the power to heal, to guide, and to transform our entire reality. When our heart is open, we are in alignment with the infinite energy of the universe. We are in a state of grace, in harmony with both the physical and spiritual worlds. However, when our hearts become closed or hardened, we block this flow of energy. We limit ourselves by allowing fear, anger, or doubt to cloud our emotional state, creating barriers between us and the divine. The more we hold on to these negative emotions, the further we drift from the loving embrace of God. But even in those moments, the heart remains a powerful force waiting to be unlocked. No matter how far we've strayed, we can always choose to open our hearts again, to let love flow freely and reconnect with the divine energy that sustains us. Our heart is not just the source of love, it is the source of transformation. When we align it with God, we begin to experience life in a profound, spiritual way. It is where miracles begin. Letting go of the past is one of the most powerful acts of liberation we can undertake. Often, We find ourselves tethered to past experiences, memories, and mistakes that continue to define us. We allow these moments to dictate how we feel in the present and how we perceive our future. But the truth is, the past no longer exists except in our minds. It is a collection of experiences that have already passed, and yet we often carry their weight as if they are still present. By holding on to these memories and regrets, we are not only trapping ourselves in a cycle of negativity, but also blocking the flow of new opportunities, growth, and divine connection. When we let go of the past, we free ourselves from the emotional burdens that come with it. We stop identifying with the mistakes we've made or the painful experiences we've endured. Instead, we begin to see ourselves as whole, as beings who are continuously evolving, learning, and growing. Letting go is not about forgetting or erasing the past. It's about releasing the emotional charge attached to those events, so they no longer control our present or future. It's about choosing to live in the now, where all of our power lies. This act of releasing is not always easy. It requires a conscious decision to forgive, to heal, and to surrender to a higher purpose. But when we do, we create space within ourselves for new possibilities. The moment we let go of the past is the moment we become open to divine love and guidance. We allow ourselves to be present in the moment, fully experiencing life as it unfolds. And in that space of freedom, we invite God's presence into our hearts, transforming us from the inside out. Transformation through surrender is one of the most profound shifts we can experience in our lives. Surrendering does not mean giving up or becoming passive. Rather, it means letting go of control of our need to dictate every outcome and trusting that there is a higher power guiding us. It's about recognizing that, no matter how much we try to control every aspect of our lives, there are forces far greater than ourselves that shape the world in ways we cannot always comprehend. Surrendering is the act of allowing ourselves to be led by something much bigger, something divine. When we surrender, we open ourselves to the infinite flow of God's grace and wisdom. We stop fighting against life's challenges and instead accept them as opportunities for growth. This does not mean that we become passive or indifferent to the world around us. It means that we release the heavy burden of trying to force outcomes and trust that, when we align ourselves with the divine will, everything unfolds as it should. In this state of surrender, we find peace, not because everything in our external world is perfect, but because we have chosen to trust in the process of life itself. Surrendering also allows us to release the ego, that part of ourselves that insists on controlling and shaping our identity based on external achievements, approval, and validation. When we surrender, we reconnect with our true self, the one that is deeply connected to the divine and guided by love. This transformation through surrender is not just an intellectual understanding. It's a deep internal shift in how we live, how we experience life, and how we align ourselves with God's purpose for us. It's in this space of surrender that true healing and growth begin. Everything in the universe is energy, and we, as human beings, are no exception. Every thought we think, every emotion we feel, and every action we take it's a frequency that ripples out into the world. This energy, whether positive or negative, is a powerful force that shapes our experiences. We often overlook the impact of our internal state on our external reality, yet it is the very key to understanding how we interact with the world around us. The frequency at which we vibrate determines the kind of experiences we attract, the opportunities that come our way, and even the relationships we cultivate. When we hold thoughts of fear, doubt, or negativity, we lower our vibrational frequency. This creates an energetic block that can prevent us from experiencing the fullness of life. We might find ourselves stuck in a cycle of frustration, anxiety, or lack, simply because we are resonating at a low frequency. Our internal energy, influenced by our beliefs and emotions, attracts more of what we are focused on. This is why shifting our energy to a higher frequency is so crucial. On the other hand, when we align ourselves with love, gratitude, and positivity, we raise our frequency. This is when we begin to experience a different kind of life. We attract abundance, joy, and connection because we are vibrating at a frequency that resonates with those higher energies. Our thoughts and emotions become tools for transformation, creating a reality that mirrors the positivity within. This is not just a philosophical idea. It's grounded in the very fabric of our existence. Our energy is always in motion, and the more we align it with divine love and purpose, the more we open ourselves to a life filled with possibility, peace, and fulfillment. The choice between love and fear is perhaps the most significant decision we make every day. Every moment, we are presented with a choice to either respond from a place of love or from a place of fear. Fear is a powerful force. It clouds our judgment, limits our potential, and keeps us locked in cycles of doubt and insecurity. It creates separation, making us feel disconnected from others, from ourselves, and from God. On the other hand, love is a force that unites, that opens our hearts and minds to new possibilities, and that connects us to the divine energy flowing through all things. The frequency of love is expansive, elevating us and those around us, while the frequency of fear is constricting, keeping us in a state of resistance. When we choose love, we align ourselves with the highest vibration of the universe. Love is the energy that fuels creation, the force that empowers us to overcome obstacles, and the light that guides us through darkness. Choosing love doesn't mean avoiding challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means responding with compassion, kindness, and trust in the face of difficulty. It's a conscious decision to let go of the negative patterns of fear, judgment, and scarcity, and replace them with the abundant energy of love, acceptance, and faith. Fear often arises from a sense of separation from others, from our purpose, and from God. Love, however, reminds us of our oneness with the divine and with all people. It is through love that we find healing, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us. The more we choose love over fear, the more we elevate our own vibration and contribute to raising the collective vibration of humanity. This choice is not a one-time decision, but a continuous practice, a commitment to living from the highest place within us. God's presence is always with us, even when we feel distant or disconnected. There is never a moment when we are truly alone or abandoned, though at times we may believe otherwise. The divine connection is constant, regardless of our actions, thoughts, or circumstances. It is not bound by time or our mistakes. God's love is ever present, always waiting for us to turn back to it. Sometimes we become so engrossed in the hustle and distractions of life that we forget to acknowledge this divine presence. We may feel that we have to be in a certain state of mind or have everything figured out before we can return to God. But the truth is, God is always available, always open, and always loving. This presence is not something we have to earn or achieve. It is a gift that is always there, within us and around us. It is accessible in every moment, even in our darkest times, even when we feel lost or disconnected. The more we open our hearts and minds to this presence, the more we realize that God has never left us. It is simply we who have turned away. We get distracted by the noise of the world, by our own fears, and by the temporary setbacks that seem to define our lives. But the moment we choose to reconnect, to turn our attention back to God, we are met with unconditional love and guidance. This divine connection is not something we need to seek outside of ourselves. It's always been within us, waiting for us to rediscover it. The key is in our willingness to open our hearts, to surrender to God's presence, and to trust that no matter how far we may feel from God, the path back is always there, always accessible, always welcoming. Miracles are often thought of as grand, dramatic events that defy the laws of nature, yet the most powerful miracles occur within us. They are the shifts in our consciousness, the moments when we let go of fear and doubt, and open ourselves to the transformative power of love. These internal miracles have the ability to change our entire experience of life. When we align with God, when we turn our hearts back to the divine, we begin to see the world through a different lens, one that is filled with possibility, hope, and wonder. The miracles that happen within are subtle, yet profound. They occur in the quiet moments when we choose to forgive, when we release past pain, or when we embrace the unknown with faith instead of fear. It's in those moments of surrender when we stop trying to control everything and instead trust that something greater is at work. These internal shifts create a ripple effect, transforming not just our emotional state, but the reality we experience. When we begin to operate from a place of love, peace, and trust, we begin to attract circumstances, opportunities, and relationships that align with that energy. These miracles are not bound by time or space. They are timeless and infinite, capable of creating lasting change in our lives. The transformation that happens within us, through a shift in our perspective, our emotional healing, or our alignment with the divine, is what enables us to see and experience the miracles of life in the most ordinary moments. The more we connect with our inner truth and divine presence, the more we open ourselves to miracles. They are not distant or rare events. They are the natural outcome of living in alignment with the divine flow of love and grace. We often wait for the right time to make changes, to take action, or to reconnect with what truly matters. We tell ourselves that there will be a perfect moment when everything aligns, when we feel ready, or when circumstances are ideal. But the truth is, there is no time like the present. The present moment is all we truly have, and it holds within it the power to transform everything. Waiting for the future to change our lives often leads to missed opportunities, while the power of now can shift everything in an instant. The present moment is where our true power lies. It is the space where we can decide to make a change, to realign our hearts with God, to choose love over fear, or to begin a journey of healing and transformation. The decision to turn back to God, to change our thoughts, or to start living in alignment with our true purpose can happen right now, regardless of the past or the future. There is no need to wait for tomorrow or for perfect conditions. The divine presence is always available, always ready to meet us in this moment. When we act in the now, we stop postponing our growth, our connection, and our joy. We stop letting our fears of the future or our regrets about the past control us. We embrace the opportunity to live fully, to engage with life as it is, and to trust that everything we need is already within us. Waiting for the right moment often keeps us in a state of inaction, but choosing to act now is where true transformation begins. In this moment, we can create the life we desire, step into our purpose, and experience the fullness of divine love.